Thank you for joining us on Focus on Africa from BBC World News. Bringing peace to the whole of Somalia still remains one of the continent's biggest challenges, despite big strides being made. A year ago today, there was jubilation in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, when Mohamed Abdullahi Farmaajo was elected president. He was voted in by Somali lawmakers as holding a wider election was considered too dangerous. But there were widespread expectations that the new president, with the backing of the African Union and the UN, would make a big difference. Now, to assess what impact the president has had over the past year, I'm now joined by Farhan Jamal, who is a presenter for BBC Somali TV. Thanks so much, Farhan, for coming. I mean, we've seen Ferdinand Omondi's report. It's based on what he's saying in Mogadishu. But what's the situation in Somalia itself, I mean the rest of the country?
I think it's almost the same as it was a year ago in terms of security, in terms of other public services. We're talking about a country that has fallen apart, a country that has been through for many decades, many years of civil war, where the national institutions have completely collapsed. So this is a president who came on power with a lot of expectations from the Somalis. He came as a nationalist, and his biggest pledge was to rebuild the army, the Somali security forces, which is still, as Ferdinand was saying, is the biggest challenge. So in terms of his popularity,
what does the government control any other place apart from Mogadishu?
Well, Somalia is a federal government at the moment. So there are federal states who either are allied with the government or not allied with the Somali central government. But there are some areas where the Somali Islamist group al-Shabab controls. But most of the Somali territory is either pro-Somali government forces or the Somali forces are controlling. But the question is whether he will be able to reunite those federal states, and because of the civil war, Somalia has been dysfunctional. Yeah. So he requires actually the support of the federal states. The Somali government has been saying that it's winning the war against al-Shabab. How true is that? How true is it? Well, they're still trying their best, even though the group has been weakened militarily and they do not control any more major cities in the country. But the problem is people want jobs. There is a very high unemployment in the country. You have a government which cannot provide the basic services like health, education. So even though the security is the main challenge, but still there are a lot of things that this government has to do. But
has it done anything? Security aside.
One thing that this president, year on, could be given a credit is that there has never been an infight within the government, because as we know, the previous government in Somalia, there has never been a prime minister who completed 12 months. So either the prime minister or the president has always been in fight with one another. So that's one thing. They're still united, but we will see what happens.
You said there was a lot of excitement when he became president. What is the view of him now? How do the Somalis view him?
I think over the last 12 months, there are a number of issues that have had an impact on his, in terms of the foreign policy, in terms of the crackdown of political opponents. Over the last few weeks, there are a number of incidents where the government raided some of the opposition leaders in the country, and some of them also have been arrested. So I think we cannot say at the moment he still has the popularity he had a year ago today when he came to power.
Farhan Jamal, many thanks. Main presenter of BBC Somali TV. Now let's take a quick look at other stories making headlines across the continent.